One Dot Daily. I'm Chris. I posted a video a few days ago of a case tested Barlow, and it was one of my first. It was my first repair video that made it up without getting copyright stricken or whatever, and having to take it down. So a few of you checked that out. You commented on it. I even got a few subscribers, and I just want to say I'm so grateful. Everyone was very gracious and encouraging, and everyone was really kind, which is more than I could hope for. And I was hoping so much that just to get a little feedback, camaraderie, that sort of thing. Let me know someone had seen it, that kind of thing. Sometimes you put a video out there, I guess, for your first time, you're new like me, and you have no idea if anyone's even gonna take a look at it. So it was really, really nice to hear from people, and I started following some of you back, and got to dialogue a little bit with each one of you. And I just want you to know I'm really, really grateful, and thank you so much for subscribing and liking and doing all that stuff too. But more than anything, thanks for the words of encouragement and all the kindness. So on today's episode, we are going to take a look at a few of my 1979 case knives, a couple that sort of got me into the being specific about the One Dot and what year, and it's my birth year, so they kind of hold a little bit of meaning, and they're as old as I am, I guess, and I think at least as I get older, I do that thing where I start to be nostalgic about the time period that maybe I come from or grew up in, and these knives remind me a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't know, maybe that's probably pretty common as people age to romanticize things about when they were younger, their childhood. Anyway, so I'm doing that, and I am just here to share it a little bit with you guys. One thing about these knives that I notice, specifically the One Dots from this time period, they have kind of a specific color scheme going on that was present from, I don't know, like 77 into the early 80s, and I kind of recognize that whole time period had it was the color scheme of that time period as I remember it anyhow. You could see paint schemes on 18-wheeler trucks, and think of things like Waylon Jennings and Dukes of Hazzard and these different icons of that time period kind of all remind me and fit in very much with some of the knives and what they remind me of. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also going to share on a knife that I modded and that I'm carrying all the time now, and why I really like it. And then I'm going to share a newer knife that I got. It's a 6207 mini trapper, but before it was actually a mini trapper. And interestingly enough, 79 I guess was the first year for the mini trapper, which I found out kind of looking at a book to make this video. So I'm going to clean that knife up. It needs a little bit of cleanup, and I'm going to take you to the process of that, a little before and after maybe. Hopefully there's a difference that's discernible, but generally there is. You sand the knife down and clean it up, and the bone on these knives ends up looking really, really good. And then so I'm going to show that process, and hopefully you guys will stick around for it. All right, thanks. All right, here's the first knife we're going to talk about. This is the 6332, the One Dot 79, of course, with this little, I don't know if that's California clip, maybe it is, but definitely we've got our One Dot there. Love the way the walk and talk sounds. As you notice with this, it is missing something. It's missing a shield, and that's because right around in 78, may have begun in 77, they started to glue shields on, and so that wasn't complete until 1980. But this one, in fact, a lot of the little Stockmans don't have a pin shield. In fact, I haven't found. There is. I did see a 63 18 PU that maybe has a shield that I'm kind of hoping to pick up. A pin shield, sorry. But this one's cool. This one I got in real bad shape. It was after I had to sell my whole case collection, actually, and because of a house fire. And I picked this guy up, and it was in terrible shape. Everything was heavily rusted. You can see that there is bad pitting on these blades, but I kind of cleaned them up the best that I could without sanding everything down. And then where this shield was just an indention, and I went in and I kind of jigged and tried to match it. It's not like the best job, but it kind of is cool because it makes this little indention, and it's just, I don't know, it actually kind of feels good to kind of like rub on that guy and fidget with it in your pocket. And this is just the quintessential pocket knife, like what I think of kind of in the old, like if this was an old timer or grandpa's pocket knife, this is kind of what I think of. But I cleaned it up, and it's actually a very nice knife. Sometimes you start not getting the back spring lining up with the blade, and this one just lines up really, really well, and it has this really nice sound of the snap, and I just really enjoy this one. And this one gets a ton of pocket time, and the colors from starting I think in 77 started to get they didn't match them on front and back, and this had this, I love this because this reminds me so much of like 79 and that color schemes that started to come in around that time period, late 70s, early 80s, these like browns, blacks with tans or golds, and it just very much harkens to that time in my mind. You can see some of these like old like semi trucks, 18 wheelers from that time period just had these like cool, beautiful color schemes going on, and I don't know, it just really reminds me of that time period. So this knife was a great one to kind of start off my obsession with the whole 79 kick. And I don't know, I really enjoy this knife. This gets a ton of pocket time, actually. All right, so let's go to the next guy. And this is a 64052, and you can see that it has seen better days. I mean, someone, I don't know what they did. This was a nail nick that is now really pretty messed up, and it's that way on both sides. But this actually has a pinned shield, and the 64052 came with nickel silver spacers and liners, which I really like. I actually think those are nicer than just brass. Brass is a little more common in my opinion, and I read somewhere that it's actually, brass was actually a money saving exercise, like to make, save money in production. But it just gets real clean in there. It's not the cleanest right now because I've got some lint and stuff in there, but it's pretty darn clean. And this thing just, I don't know, I just really like, it's got the half stops everywhere, and it's really, really nice. And it's got that pin shield. So now I'm always looking out for pin shields, because some in 79 had it, and some get the glued, and then you get that where it falls out sometimes. Anyways, so let's see. The next knife is this guy here, which is the 6308, and this is like another color scheme of that time that that started to happen, and it's really kind of cool looking. I think I love the way that looks, like very deep chocolatey brown in there, but then with these lighter edges, and that's just what it's called in the book that I have too, which is dark brown with light edges, and then the back can be referred to sometimes as just black bone, I guess. On some of these, like this one, it's much more of a marbled brown, and in the right sunlight it really comes out as a marbled brown, whereas this stays very dark and looks black. Let's get this guy out. This knife's in pretty darn good shape. It's got a few carbon spots on it, which I need to try and get out, but it's in beautiful shape, front and back. And this one I love about this time period, and this specific, I really search out this color bone because it looks just like my dog. Like, it looks exactly like what's on my dog Django. And this little shield here is also a pinned shield. So I don't know, anytime I find the pinned shields, I just kind of feel like they're a slightly higher quality knife, like in my mind or in my opinion. So anyways, let's move on to the Copperhead, which is, this is one that I gravitate to the most now, and I've shared a bunch on this one, and it's just with that blade delete in there, guys, it's pinchable. I love it. It's pinchable. It's perfect size. It is actually really heavy duty. I mean, this is a strong working jackknife, not quite on like a 6.231 1.5 or 6.231 jack, but like really a close second to that in its strength. And so I just love this knife. I go to this knife all the time. It's just one of my very favorites, and I love that it's pinchable. It does have a glued on shield. I have one other Copperhead 79 with a pin shield, but it's in very bad shape. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, where I'm going to try and salvage it, clean it up. We'll see. That'll be like maybe a later project. But today's little project is going to be on this 6207 or Mini Trapper. However, this guy is a true 6207 because it has the pin blade. And interesting about 1979, it was actually the first year of, I found out in my book, it was the first year of when they put the spay blade on this, and people started calling it a Mini Trapper. This guy needs some love, needs some cleanup. This is a book that I've got, and it has really beautiful pictures in it, and it does give a lot of information about patterns and the handle colors and when things were discontinued, whatever. But it more than anything, it has just like beautiful full color, high quality, the pages are very high quality pictures, and the 6207 pattern that I was just referring to, I just kind of highlighted this down here because I didn't realize that 1979 was the first time that the 6207 became known as the Mini Trapper, and they put the spay blade in it. You can see it had it. This is like a 1980, and it gives a little price, but this is from 2015, so I don't know how close or whatever if you can go by this. But this is a really pretty book. It's kind of an expensive book. It's like, I don't know, over $100. But anyhow, Yeah, so this guy is the knife that I'm going to be cleaning up today. And again, you know, it just has all those color patterns in it, that marbled kind of brown, and then some of those light pieces. This is a pinned on shield, so I'm stoked about that, but this has some carbon spotting on it that I'm going to try to get off. It's in extremely good shape, other than it has like some carbon spotting, and it is like, this guy just needs, it's just tight in there. It's when it doesn't snap out, it's very kind of lazy, but I think that's just grime and needs to be oiled up and worked in, that sort of thing. I don't think it's actually a problem with the knife. This should be sort of an easy cleanup, except if I can't get this carbon spotting off. So that's the one we're going to take a look at today, guys. And I don't know, stick with me, and I'll kind of start just a very light cleanup process. It's not going to be like a taking apart the knife and like the case tested Barlow that was in the previous video. So, all right, stick around. Okay, we're gonna start off with some oil for this guy, just to see if we can't start to loosen up these joints a little bit and get some of that guck worked out. So I'm just gonna start off with mineral oil. In the end, I'll use the little bit nicer oil. What is it? TPL or TP? What's this stuff? KPL. We got this nice big wire wheel on this guy. This is a new addition. I've been struggling with the smaller ones until I saw somebody had, in fact it was Kevin, Knife Doctor, had found these larger ones, and they're just absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna get down in these wells a little bit with them now. These wells are pretty darn clean now, too. That wants to snap in now. Yeah, okay, cool, that's way better. I knew it just had to be some gunk in there, because the knife's in, you know, really, really good shape. So these abrasive hand blocks, I think they're just like the case erasers, but I think there actually might be a little bit better. They got a medium and a coarse and a fine, and I think I'm gonna hit it a little bit with the medium and just see where we start out. Because the thing is, these guys still have a lot of that mirror polish on there, and I don't want to knock that off if I can help it. But I do want to get the carbon off. I want, you know, I can buff the blade later and bring it up to a shine and sand if I have to. But I just want to see. I haven't really experimented with these blocks yet. Let me know what have you guys ever tried these, or do you prefer the case eraser? All right, time to tape up the blades. Okay, let's pop it. We're going to get the tape off the blades. here's the finished product. Came out really, really nice. It's always difficult with some of these darker guys to really see the texture and the character in there, but it's really, really nice. You can kind of see there that like where the character and kind of marbling and there's like almost like a waterfalling effect going on there in the back. And then on the front, we've got kind of that s'mores deep chocolate brown, which I really, really enjoy seeing those little parts of white and whatever that come out there. So knife turned out really well. Walk and talk is great. There's still a little bit of carbon spotting on those blades. It's lighter, but I couldn't get it all the way off without going to a belt sander. But I got the blades pretty darn smooth and clean, and there's that rust spot at the end that's not coming out. That's pitted. There's a little bit of pitting here along the back spring. It's you can see there. So it's not like a mint condition knife, but I mean, mint condition knives are, I don't know, sometimes they're not that fun because you don't get to put them in your pocket. Whereas this one, you can carry this one around and appreciate it and use it. And I don't really have mint knives anyhow. I am more about collecting the patterns from this year, but I'm really happy with the way that it came out. I'm glad you guys all hung around if you're still here. Hopefully I'll hear from a couple of you in the comments, and let me know what you think. If anything you want to see or don't see, have any advice, honestly, like I'm all ears, man. I'm a hobbyist tinkerer with this stuff, and I just enjoy doing it. Like the process is relaxing for me, and I found some people online and you guys to kind of have some camaraderie with maybe, and I don't know, share some similar interests. So that's what it's about for me. And I don't know. Thank you guys for checking out the video, and I will be posting more soon. All right. Thanks, guys.